And we're live.
Hey, we are live here on the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast. Yes, we are. We are certainly live. I will be your host tonight, Austin Pez. Howell. Jacob Barber is very much under the weather tonight. So a different format than what we were going to do tonight. We were going to have kind of start our rank 'em women's thing. We will get to that very, very shortly, at least in the next few weeks. We will get there, but we need 5 people to do that. So it's a little tough to do when one of our regulars drops out, and it's hard to get a guest as well. But we will get to that in due time. Tonight's just going to be kind of a casual episode. We're going to do some news, some recent happenings, talk about Raw, Dynamite, all that kind of stuff, and just have a casual little chat here tonight with my good friends. To the right of me, we've got JPO, Mr. Jordan Owens. Welcome, sir. How's it going?
What's up, everybody? Another week of wrestling and wrestling shenanigans, and we'll talk a little news and probably make a little bit of a shorter show.
Yeah, just a little shorter show tonight. Just a little casual hangout. We always want to talk some wrestling, though. Richie Goodacre, how's it going, sir?
Yeah, it's been a long time no talk. Let's talk mystery men. I mean, wrestling.
No, as far as I can tell, no wrestlers in Mystery Men. I kept waiting for some kind of cameo in that movie, but as many people.
Yeah, I was gonna say
nobody in there is like wrestling related. I don't think so. No,
it seems.
I was very surprised though. Like I said, I wasn't even trying it. I found a Liv Morgan movie this week.
I did see a piece of that on your show. Yeah, you found like some random goofy where she shows up at the end, like right before.
All of a sudden, in the last 30 minutes, she's in the art gallery, and I'm like, fucking Liv Morgan.
Liv?
Yeah, lives in a Samuel L. Jackson Uma Thurman movie. Yeah, that's a real thing. Which now, like, the memory banks were rolling, and I'm like, I feel like I read about it like 4 years ago while they were shooting it, but like it just kind of fell on the radar, and
good to be here and talk some news.
Yeah, we'll get into the news in just a second. So Jacob's the man that's been handling sort of the points of our fantasy, and I'm sure he has been doing that behind the scenes. But I at least do have the rosters in front of me, so we can at least kind of discuss, at least with SmackDown and Raw, who got points for what for both having matches and having people win matches, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know all the point systems in front of me. But as far as SmackDown goes, Richie, I know you had Chelsea Green on your roster, so she got a win for defending her title the other night on SmackDown, so points for that. You also had both Nakamura and LA Knight on your roster, and they had a U.S. title match that ended in a disqualification, I believe.
In no contest, because he got into the face of the whatever they call it now, formerly the New Bloodline.
Just broke up the match. So that's that one just kind of ended. But I think you still get the points for both them being in the match, so you at least get that. And then in the main event, I think my Jacob Fatu pick is paying off for SmackDown, at least him being in frequent main events, because he was in another tag match in the main event and won. So I would get at least points for both a main event and a win. So my Fatu pick up, that I picked second is paying off a little bit there for SmackDown.
And I had Cody. I've got Cody Rhodes, so he's at least in the match.
He's still in matches for sure, so he's still around. Yeah, I mean he's doing his thing.
Didn't anyone have Jimmy Uso?
I don't think anybody has Jimmy. We got Jacob has Jey Uso, but nobody, I think, picked Jimmy Uso, so he is not on anybody's roster. Yeah. And then jumping over to the Raw side of things. Jacob had Sheamus, who did have a win over Ludwig Kaiser, who Richie you have, so unfortunately doesn't get the win, but he was at least on TV in the match. I know JPO, you had Chad Gable, who had a match, but unfortunately was defeated by the debuting Penta, who I drafted in my draft before he had debuted. So he gets a win there, but still having the match there. And then JPO, you did have Damian Priest in the main event, who picks up a big win over Finn Balor in that street fight. So a main event win, so that's bonus points there. But Richie did switch last minute to Finn Balor last week and dropped over Finn Balor, so you at least had a main event appearance.
I still don't regret that, but I'm like, man, I thought eventually they'd give Finn Balor a win. Oh, what did Finn Balor do?
Yeah. And Jacob Barber also had Myra Valkyria, who picked up a big title win, on Raw as well, becoming the, what we may talk about that, becoming the first women's Intercontinental Champion. So, win also for Jacob there. So, some points here and there. Everybody picking up some points. So, nobody getting shut out this week. Everybody had at least some stuff going on. I feel bad for Jacob, who Braun Breaker seems to be in the front row a lot lately and has yet to wrestle, since he drafted him. So, but it looks like we're getting a Sheamus Braun Breaker match at Saturday Night's Main Event is what it looks like. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. So Saturday Night's Main Event next week? I thought that I can't remember.
Not this week, but I believe it's next week. Yeah, because it's like a week before the Rumble. It's the 25th, so it will not be this Saturday, but next Saturday. And yeah, they're shaping up a few matches. We can talk about that as well for Saturday Night's Main Event. They're starting to kind of gear up for that show. But yeah, so that was the fantasy update. We'll get into the news here. We did have somewhat of a wrestling related death, not a wrestler death, but we did have both pseudo wrestling sports / movie conglomeration death. I pulled up the picture. Bob Uecker, who a lot of you may remember, with Andre the Giant, that makes a lot of highlight reels. Bob Uecker getting choked out at WrestleMania 4 backstage by Andre the Giant. He was, of course, a sports baseball broadcaster for many, many years, and was also Major League 1 and 2 as the play-by-play commentator there. So, movie-related guy, somewhat wrestling-related guy, but JPO, I believe he is in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame, I believe, is Bob Uecker, if I recall when I looked it up earlier today. So, a WWE Hall of Famer, if you will, passing away today. So, any thoughts on Bob Uecker? Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. Drew Carey, Bob Uecker, just takes one. Yeah.
I showed Tato that clip the other day because he came up in trivia for Lights Out. I was like, oh yeah, Bob Uecker, the guy Andre choked. It's my only connection to him. So R.I.P. Good age though, big bucket of win.
Yeah, Richie, any thoughts on Bob Uecker?
Yeah. I mean, it's a sort of iconic moment. Like we sort of read on that Celebrity Hall of Fame. I think it's a more memorable sort of moment, and it's in rotation than like Drew Carey in the Royal Rumble. I think it's there, and I think the dude obviously has like charisma. I liked him in Major League. I think he's really funny. It's cool. It's a cool moment. So yeah, I mean, R.I.P. I didn't realize the dude's was in his 90s. So it's a pretty good run. Yeah.
And he was still doing a decent amount of broadcasting even up until his death. I think he was still doing baseball broadcasting. So, good on him. Great voice. Yeah, and if you haven't seen Major League 1 or 2, he's fantastic as the play-by-play guy. Of course, the famous, just a bit outside. When Charlie Sheen, just throws it completely, off the wall and whatnot. Yeah, he's very, very funny in those movies. He throws the pitch, the other guy hits a home run. Ah, shit. It's great. He's very, very funny in those movies. He's definitely kind of a show stealer in those. So if you have not gone back and watched Major League, he's very, very funny. So go watch Major League for Bob Uecker, or go watch that promo with Andre the Giant. It's very, very funny. Great personality. So rest in peace, old Bob Uecker. But yeah, 90 years old, had a great run. That's something. And yeah, the next kind of biggest story is one that's kind of breaking, although it's been kind of unofficial for a while, but is, pretty much being made official, is this WWE TNA partnership that was made kind of official with this press release they put out today, basically saying that, yes, going forward, we got kind of this official partnership. They've talked, the press release talked about how Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry and some of these guys have made appearances on NXT, and then NXT guys have made appearances on TNA. And from what it looks like, JPO, did you see that like this next TNA pay-per-view has like an NXT logo under it? Like they're literally like cross promoting it as like an NXT thing. Did you see that at all? I thought I saw that somewhere. No. Yeah, for Genesis, that it has like NXT stuff on the actual poster. So I'm wondering, is this going to be like a TNA versus NXT kind of situation, or some kind of actual cross pay-per-view? You're the TNA pay-per-view guy. You watch those TNA pay-per-views, but I was trying to look up and see, or even find the logo or what I saw. as far as that goes. But it looks like it says TNA Genesis W NXT this Sunday, right? So that's coming up this week.
Yeah. If you go to the TNA Wrestling website, there's a little graphic that says,
Interesting. Is there any matches announced for that at all, or because it's coming up soon?
1 second, I'm looking at a brief commercial here. Yeah, TNA Wrestling Genesis, and then NXT right beneath that. Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to have, if it's just going to be an NXT presence at the show, or are we going to get people, just kind of tooling around the show, or are we going to get actual cross promotional matches? It'll be interesting to see and find out. But yeah, this press release kind of being made official. Richie, yeah, your thought, like they've kind of, but they're putting it out there now, even though we kind of already knew it, but it's official now.
Should be no surprise too that they're running. I think they're running the same building as Final Battle was on in December, and they've sold more tickets than Final Battle did. So I mean, probably shouldn't be surprised at this point. But yeah, no, I think that should be interesting. Joe Hendry's facing Nick Nemeth on that show, right?
I was gonna say, yeah. If you want here, share my screen real quick.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say because I didn't realize there was one this weekend, but I know JPO usually pop it up on the screen.
Yeah,
going on
3 days away. Genesis here, so no announced NXT guys as far as matches go. But I'm definitely, the fact that it's on the other flyers shows we're gonna have some sort of appearance, debut. Who knows what? So yeah, Joe Hendry once again going for the title against Nick Nemeth. We're just seeing if he finally gets it here. Don't forget, Tessa Blanchard's return. She'll be taking on Jordan Grace in her return. Masa Slamovich versus Rosemary. Tag titles on the line with the Hardys versus the Rascals. Mike Santana versus Josh Alexander. Just double check something. Oh yeah, Masa Slamovich is defending the Knockouts title. Got to show his Knockouts. Moose defending the X Division against Ace Austin. The Knockouts tag titles: Spitfire versus Ash by Elegance, and now Heather by Elegance. And on the countdown, Frank Kazarian versus Leon Slater. And there's a busted open pre-show, which sounds like, I guess that's probably Bubba Ray Dudley and Tommy Dreamer on the pre-show.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how the
that's only 7 matches. I could see another match being added, and maybe even to the pre-show. So yeah, we'll see.
Interesting. Marsha Slamovich was shown in the crowd at NXT. Just good. Just chill out.
Oh, nice.
Well, there you go.
I'm expecting we're going to get more of it to go. In fact, one of the pieces I was just reading is replacing NXT Level Up is LFG, which I thought was Let's Fucking Go, but I guess it stands for Legends and Future Greats. And it sounds like it's going to be a mix of kind of Tough Enough and NXT, where it's the real newish comers, and they're going to be kind of like guided and whatnot by legends and whatnot, but they're going to have matches at the same time. So it sounds like it's going to be kind of a hybrid of kind of what the original NXT was and then like what Tough Enough was. So that's going to be replacing basically Level Up.
Well, what is this thing called NXT Evolve as well, or something Evolve?
Yeah, they announced that as well. So it looks like LFG is going to end up being on A&E, actually, like normal television, which is kind of interesting and weird. So I don't know if maybe it's like partially a reality show. So it's gonna be on A&E of all things, and I'm guessing the Evolve thing is gonna. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's 2 more shows now. So
it'd be interesting considering how blacklisted she was, and it'd be interesting how that works out. That Tessa Blanchard might backdoor her way into the WWE.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, an interesting note of the press release was like, they are still activating independently. So, like, it sounds like they're kind of saying, like, hey, we might not ever touch Tessa. You can use her. We're never going to tell you not to. And vice versa. Like, I'm sure no one in TNA can be like, hey, can you give our guy the world title? Like, you know what I mean? So they are going to be independent still. Just have some joint stuff as well, is what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, because Chelsea Green has been still pretty outspoken on interviews. Like, no, she's still a bitch. I'm not forgiving her.
Yeah, I would imagine something like that's not going away. Yeah.
So yeah, but it should be interesting. I still assume that like once like Joe Hendry's contract runs out and Jordan Grace, are just going to be more NXT people that might show up they could show it.
Well, and we speculate both of them will probably show up in the Royal Rumble, respectively. Like they're both going to be. Jordan Grace is 99% chance she's going to be in the Women's Royal Rumble. Joe Hendry's probably going to show up in the Men's Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? To kick off maybe that official partnership, for sure, and get it going.
And it'll be interesting to see where Josh Alexander goes, because he's pretty much said that he's more or less he's leaving, but I don't know whether he's going to AEW or if he's going to AEW. He kind of mentioned that he a couple of months ago that he kind of had a farewell to the Indies for now, because the next thing where the next place he's going, he won't get to do much Indies, which kind of makes me think WWE, but you never know, maybe it's AEW. Or maybe it's Japan. I don't know. But yeah, I think he's wrapping up somewhere too. But it'd be cool to see him on NXT, maybe do something with Ethan Page, just kind of,
I could see Triple H being interested in a guy named Josh Alexander, who's an excellent wrestler, obviously, and who's risen his ranks in TNA and become a guy. I can see Triple H using that dude, 100%. Yeah. So and I think NXT needs a few of those infused kind of TNA people, only because they're calling up, they called up Carmelo Hayes, they're calling up Trick Williams, Obafemi's the champ, but, he may not only be there for, a little while longer. They're moving people around. They can use some more stars. Roxanne Perez is going to go. So, I think they could use an influx of newer talent. That may be part of this TNA partnership, is slowly working in, a few of those, TNA people into NXT and kind of giving them a chance to, shine on that roster. So I can see that. It's a win for everybody, because TNA is going to get a boost from people checking out, the pay-per-views of the TV show, whatever, if NXT people make, appearances and vice versa. So that'll be interesting. I'm sure JPO will have a full report. You watch the TNA pay-per-views, so you can let us know. What happens.
This is the more expensive one. But I'll see what I can do.
It's not it's not their $10 one or
this isn't their TNA Plus one. They want 40 of my dollars, so I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Well, regardless of that, we can report back and see what happened and who showed up and how.
It's interesting because usually
I'll never report anything interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because usually in January it's hard to kill, and they've obviously switched that around. And Genesis, which is usually at the end, near the end of the year, but it hasn't been. I think Genesis has been around for a little while, but it's usually when it was around, it was around sort of the end of the year, sort of in January. So I don't know, you might just be switching things around as well.
Wow. If you want to get super technical, I believe Genesis was at the beginning of the year, and then they changed it at the end of the year, and then they put it back at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah. It makes sense, given that it's called Genesis, to have it start the year. I don't know. Probably doesn't matter either
way. Let's move on to the actual Monday Night Raw from this past week, which I thought was a great show. Did you guys watch Raw altogether? I thought it was back to really good stuff. Maybe even, just from a wrestling storyline standpoint, they got back to kind of, moving things forward and getting back to the wrestling. I thought it was a great show, just overall. But a few newsworthy things going forward. So we'll get to Penta in just a second, but I wanted to, we did get a few more confirmed participants for the Royal Rumble via the opening segment. So we had that opening with Punk and Drew and Seth Rollins, kind of all jarring back and forth. But they pretty much all three declared for the Royal Rumble. So as of right now, guys, the official people declared for the Rumble: John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. So already a pretty star-studded Rumble already with those 8. Those 6, but we got a few more people we're pretty sure are going to be in the Rumble. But already pretty star-studded going forward, even with just those people. But Rich, any thoughts on that? All people we pretty much suspect are going to be in the anyways.
It's one of those things where I guess that they've been doing it the last type of few years, where it's I declare myself for the Royal Rumble, but people like CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, you just kind of, if they don't have anything else going on as far as matches, you just assume that they're going to be in the room. So, but it still makes it for a star-studded thing. I think all three of those guys have a shot. Even Drew McIntyre's already won it. Seth's already won it too. But But I could see all either three of those dudes winning. I still think Drew needs to get his sort of flowers as to have a decent title run in front of people. Maybe he gets it this year. I don't know. But yeah. So no, that's cool. We'll get to it, but there's one stat I wanted to. I've been meaning to get meaning to get JP to look up. Is when's the last time Kevin Owens has been in a Rumble? I swear he's always has a match at the Rumble, but never in the Rumble. I feel like it was like back when AJ debuted. I don't know if it was that long ago, but it's been a long time.
Well, yeah, I don't even remember if he was in that one because he had a match with Dean Ambrose on that Rumble. Yeah, because I was at that Rumble, and he had like a last man standing match.
So he's in the 2016 Rumble. He does do double duty, it sounds like. 2018, 2020, and 2022. But yeah, I mean, no, you're not wrong. He's fighting for the world title in 24, 23, 21. So there has been 3 years where he's doing something else. And 2017 actually.
2017, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you're not wrong. He is a pretty often Rumble title guy instead of
JPO, do you think either one of those guys, Cody or JPO or Kevin Owens, your cousin, could be doing double duty at this Rumble?
It's possible. I kind of hope not, just because there's so many limited spots. Let's give a spot to somebody else. And now that we got Saturday Night's Main Event, and I kind of feel like you want to make Raw special sometimes. So I hope not, just because I think there's enough room for other things,
Yeah, there's so many other people who get in there because I feel like there's other people.
And they always flip flop on that. There's years where almost the entire undercard's in the Rumble, and there's other years where not a single soul is in the Rumble. Mm-hmm. So they always flip flop on that. So it is hard to know.
Yeah. I don't want to get your hopes up, but we might be getting it looks like we might be getting a multi-man team thing, tag team thing at Saturday Night's Main Event. Maybe they're building up machine guns, DIY.
Hey, it's still not a PLE, Jay. So JPO's dream of getting tag team matches on the PLEs would not happen because they wouldn't be on the Rumble card. But if they at least get on the Saturday Night's Main Event card,
we get to Chamber. Well, I guess you have to count Mania, I suppose. But if we get to Mania, then that's a solid calendar year that we haven't had any. So
basically, yeah, no. So
and I almost feel like Mania doesn't count because it's 2 nights. So I almost want to say Chamber really counts as the 1 year,
I mean, they'll definitely get on the Mania card, obviously, because you got 2 nights you got to fill up with that.
You got 2 nights, and although what's interesting about that though is they were able to shoehorn both titles last year. Let's see how much time. Let's see if one of the titles ends up on the SmackDown, pre-show show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That happens some years. There's been years where the U.S. title, the Cruiserweight title, one of the tag titles, if not both, have been on the pre-show. So.
Yeah, I remember
now we're fighting with 2 more women's titles too. So some's on the pre-show, baby.
I remember one year is it Kalisto and Ryback, and he said he's the pre-show stopper or something. Yeah, for
I think I might have been to that one. I think I was at that one, maybe.
I was also looking up just to see what the next Saturday Night's Main Event was, is if there's one before Mania as well. I was trying to see if there was one in March or something, for 2025, because yes, we're getting the one right before the Rumble, which again is a little odd, but you could highlight at least some other matches there. We got some match announcements.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about that is with the Rumble, you're only going to have a 4 or 5 match card, so there's still plenty of feuds that's we don't have time for you at the Rumble. Put you on Main Event.
Yeah, because we're getting the Gunther Jey Uso match which we got confirmed for Saturday Night's Main Event. We got Sheamus and Braun Breaker, dropping at Saturday Night's Main Event. So that's 2 titles. That'll be featured on there, and most likely not on the Rumble card. But that leaves it open for like I said, maybe a U.S. title match, or maybe some women's matches, 1 or 2. Who knows? So whatever else they could throw on there, even just some non-title thing. So it's kind of being spread out with the week before. But hey, we'll get some title matches here and there. So we got those confirmations.
Yeah, and as of now, they're still planning to have Hulk Hogan there. So they're in a bit.
We don't know in what capacity, though. Is he going to be backstage? Is it just going to be pre-tape stuff? He's been doing the voiceover things. Are they going to trot him out in front of the crowd? I don't know. Which is, oddly enough, we haven't had any confirmation if Jesse Ventura is going to be there. He's not a fan of Hulk Hogan. We know that because he has not been a fan of Hulk Hogan for a long time. So, and we haven't really gotten confirmed that Ventura is going to be there at this one. So it's going to be interesting. Or if Ventura is not going to be there because Hulk Hogan is going to be there, I don't know. So yeah, that'll be at least one interesting aspect. We'll see what they do.
He'll just show go, buy my beer, brother. No.
Yeah, we'll see how that card is kind of playing up. So a few more Rumble and Saturday Night's Main Event confirmations. Yeah, let's talk about one of the other big things come out of Raw. Yeah, we got the debut, as Michael Cole called it, the worst kept secret in pro wrestling, that week. They were literally selling his merchandise, the day of or the day before. Penta, makes his debut here against Chad Gable. They gave him a big full entrance. The entrance was cool. Music's fine, maybe they could tweak the music as we go along, but it was all right. But the presentation was good. I thought the match was really good. Penta, had a little bit of ring rust, you can tell, in a couple of early spots, but it leveled off a little bit. And they had a very WWE style match. He sold his leg, for a good chunk of it. Gable, gave him the big moves, but they were able to showcase some of Penta's stuff. The sell on the Mexican Destroyer was great. Chad Gable, that's a great gif that's been going around of his sell on the Destroyer, just kind of going prone, like in midair. That was pretty cool. Penta winning with the Penta driver. And then they did like a full on like UFC style post-match interview in the ring, which I thought was great and really added to the debut. He cut the promo in English and Spanish.
You see his daughter crying.
Yeah, no, he had his family in the front row. Yeah, his kids there, his wife. Shouting them out, shouting out the fans. Really good move, by the way, on WWE to have him debut in California, I think, because Lucha is very big in California. So that I'm sure that was part of that was a strategic
moments. I believe that's where Lucha Underground taped. So yeah.
Lucha Underground, PWG, all the Lucha shows they do around LA and like San Jose and stuff. So yeah, very smart move. I'm sure that was deliberate to do that. Much like if anyone remember when CM Punk debuted, it was at the Hammerstein in New York. That was a smart move as well. Very, very kind of indie heavy. So yeah, I think where you debut people also helps. Crowd was super into him, but I thought overall a big thumbs up. JPO, what'd you think of the whole Penta debut and the match and all the stuff in between?
Yeah, no, pretty well handled. I mean, they gave him a couple segments here, so it was a nice match. It wasn't anything quick, so nothing too bad for Chad Gable to hang his hat on either. No, I mean, it looked good. Seemed like the crowd was relatively into it. Like you said, I enjoyed the post match too. Like it made it feel like an actual moment instead of just like, cool, we got the win, let's move on. Like it felt like this guy might be a dude, so like a dude to watch. So relatively well handled. So looking forward to see where they kind of go from here.
Yeah, Richie.
That was just a great way to make Penta feel like a big deal out the gate here. They made him feel like important. They made him feel like a star, and I thought it was great. It is funny. It's just for Michael Cole to be honest. Like, it's a worst kept secret. They still try to keep it a secret. Like, Chad Gable was Lucha star. But it's this match is great. And some people going, it didn't like it because WWE style. It's like, what are you gonna? You're in WWE. What do you expect? It's going to get it. It's going to be.
I think it's going to work to Penta's advantage though, because he's not going to have to do the bing, 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 bing. Like doing an indie match, on the big stage. Like he's going to be able to work a more deliberate pace. I mean, the guy is like, I think he's almost 40. I mean, he can still do very good things, but I think pacing it out better, like those guys kind of do, and hitting those big moves when they matter, it's going to really help him. He's not going to have to go 100 miles an hour every time he's in there. You know what I mean? And try to like have a crazy match.
Yeah, be interesting to see how what a Phoenix match will look like when he inevitably comes in at some point. But I'm sure they'll work that out because he's great as well. saw a tweet from Chad Gable's like, oh, but running that Penta. I hate Lucha Libre, but I hate Lucha, but that was one of the funnest things to be involved in my career. And he gave it a big, like, he was really excited to be Penta's first opponent. I think it's great.
He put it over while still being somewhat in character, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like, he wrote the line really well. Yeah.
So and I think it's a great first opponent for him because Chad Gable was great. Yeah, Chad Gable was great. Again, we talked about how he's underrated, but hopefully he'll get I think that they know he's great. I just think he'll get it. Hopefully, get a shot at some point soon, as far as your title. But no, this is a pretty effective debut.
I think if Sheamus ends up winning this IC title, which I think he will, either at Saturday Night's Main Event or in the near future, I think once you get it on a baby face, then you could transition to maybe Sheamus feuding with Chad Gable, who's a heel, and kind of actually maybe that might dynamic way work a little more because Chad Gable feuding with Braun Breaker, who Braun Breaker kind of toes the line. He's kind of that tweener. He's kind of like not quite babyface. Like, crowd likes him, but he's not really quite like full babyface. Not quite heel. He's kind of in between. But if Chad Gable was to feud like with Sheamus over the title, I think you'd have a more clear like babyface, heel dynamic, and I think they could work, a good program. So, I'm sure he will be kind of elevated into that position sooner rather than later. We'll see. Sheamus got a good shot, I think, to win that match at Saturday Night's Main Event. They might pull the trigger on it before, might not even Mania.
They made a big deal about how Intercontinental title's the only one he hasn't won. They made a big deal about it for a few years now. So I'd imagine you'd have to pull the trigger at some point and make him have a run to the title. So
I don't think you have to pull the trigger. I think they very well might, but it's a good way of just making the match seem important. You know what I mean? Other than just saying like, "Hey, Sheamus in an Intercontinental title match," just good storytelling. But it's definitely possible. I'm just saying. I'm not like sold 100%. I'm just saying. It's just good.
I'm not either, but I think if you were going to do some kind of title change or something big on that Saturday Night's Main Event card, that's the one you could do to make a big moment on the show. Because I don't think anybody thinks Jey Uso's defeating Gunther on that show to become World Heavyweight Champion. I think we were doing official predictions to be like, I don't think you have a chance. Sorry, Jay, we love you, but Gunther's hanging on to that title at least till Mania. But I think there is a pretty decent 50-50 shot that Sheamus could pull the trigger on that at that show.
And there's excitement around that too, because obviously these two work well together, as seen by that also triple threat match there with
with Kaiser.
I could see it happening for sure. Apparently he's Sheamus recently re-signed, so he's going to be wrestling until like his 50s. Good for him. He looks good.
Yeah, I mean, and his style is not like, again, he's not like a, fast pass, high flying guy. He's just a brawler. He works that kind of strong style, sort of just, smash mouth Haas style. So, and I think you can have guys that can make that last for a while. So, he doesn't, kill himself in the ring. I think he can make it last for a long time. So he'll be around. He's going to be one of those solid veteran guys. But Lyra Valkyria, became the first Intercontinental Champion. It feels like their time got a little cut. They were going 100 miles an hour in that match. They were going very fast. It only went like 8 minutes, but I thought they had a really fun match. I mean, they beat the shit out of each other in that match.
That suplex from that.
That suplex was nasty off the apron onto the floor. Oh, the way they just kind of had the hang time in the middle of it. They splattered on the floor. Yeah, that was gross. They kicked each other very hard. They had some big moves. But Lyra picked up the win there. So Richie, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I read potentially maybe the Penta match went a bit long, but I'm not sure about it. It is interesting tonight too. We'll get to it, but like the show didn't go 3 hours; it went 2.5.
No, it was like 2 hours and 35 minutes. And again, they don't have TV time constraints anymore. This is Netflix. So, it's just streaming on Netflix and then it's archived. So I think Triple H has said in interviews, it's like they format the show to be a certain length and every week, but depending on what they need. But to me, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not like you have some USA Network or whatever time constraint, or commercial restraint. So it's like if it goes a little longer, like you're not cutting into like the next programming, you know what I mean? So it's a little weird that like, they couldn't still give 2 or 3 extra minutes to each of the matches.
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah, because I remember him saying something like, "Oh, it could could go Raw could go 40 minutes or 4 hours." I'm like, it's not going to go 40. Raw's not going to go 40 minutes.
No.
And I don't want it to go 4 hours. So there's 2.5 and 3 hours is a sweet spot.
Triple H said 2 hour, 230, 240 is his sweet spot, is what he's aiming for every week, pretty much for the format. So that's what he's going for.
Yeah, but yeah, this match is
really
good.
They're the goal. They're just not pigeonholed to it. Yeah.
But yeah, this match is really good. I think Lyra has become has gotten quite over in a short amount of time. She's really good. Really interesting to see what who her first big challenger is with the belt, whether it's maybe someone from Damage Control but they're Damage Control technically baby faces, so I'm not sure. But yeah, it's cool seeing these mid-card women get a shot, because a lot of before these introduction of the titles, a lot of these women you'd only see on TV very seldom, so or just in the one segment thing, and so it's cool that they're getting an opportunity to get more TV time. Even though we're talking about TV time getting cut, but it is still good to see them getting more exposure though. So
JP, have any quick thoughts on Lyra? Taking the first time there, which I'm sure will be a future wrestling question.
Give it a few years.
Down the line.
Give
it a few years. Give it a little space.
2012. Yeah. I know. I mean, first of all, I'll give WWE credit. I'm always a big fan of spread the love, and so I like the fact that both finals, both the SmackDown and the Raw finals, were like women that kind of deserved like a rub. You know what I mean? It was Chelsea Green with Michin, it was Dakota, and it was Lyra. So both times I was like, kind of happy either way it goes. I definitely was more for Chelsea, a little bit over Michin at the moment here. This one I was pretty split here because I think Dakota's put in the time, but Lyra's had a really nice build over these last couple of years. So no, I mean, like you said, good match. They used their time well, and I'm excited to see it. She sold it well. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff, good success overall, and and then the main event, man, what a really fun street fight that was with Damian and Finn. Probably their best match so far. I think they gave him time to just go out there and just have a really fun, just wild match. Lots of weapons, a bunch of tables, a bunch of really good spots. Yeah, you had the stuff with like the Judgment Day interfering, but the War Raiders then getting involved to kind of level out the stuff from the week before, and then Damian Priest kind of getting the big win over Finn. To hopefully, I think they're gonna put this this little mini part of the feud to bed, because it looks like they might be. They were planting some seeds that the Judgment Day thing is probably going to be shifting around a little bit, because even with Dominic kind of taking over or something. I don't know. They teased some weird stuff with Dominic and breaking up with Liv possibly, and I'm sure they're working on some other things within that. But Richie, I thought it was a really fun match.
It was a really fun match. That Falcon Arrow spot off the. Off
that big balcony thing. Yeah, that was crazy.
That was cool. Good spot. Yeah, I think maybe that maybe changing. They're either going with Judgment Day or just changing up the dynamic. I think I think they realize that Finn's being a bit of a dick to him. They might kick Finn Balor out. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with that, but I think maybe Damian will before he moves on to different things now. But it was a really fun main event. I'm glad. It's cool that that sort of that they got placed in the main event. So I think it's that they could have done this last week, but I think it would have got lost in the shuffle. I'm glad that they got time to shine, and I think both guys worked well. But I do think, I mean, it probably makes sense for the story they're probably telling. But I just wish I want Finn to get wins now at some point. Not only because of my fantasy thing, but because the dude just needs wins. But because he's good, and I actually, I'm leaning into him as a heel. I think he's entertaining. But yeah, sort of before you, I know. I don't know if I'll just mention it because I don't know if we'll bring it up. But the only thing I thought was pretty random on the show is that they did a Karrion Cross segment, and they just randomly mentioned, "Oh yeah, Wyatt Six on SmackDown."
Can I talk about the main event first, and then we get to that?
I did talk about. If you want to talk about main event, there you go. JPO.
I'm just saying, like, save each segment for each segment. I'm just saying, jumping to another segment already.
Talk about main event.
Yeah. We'll talk about the White Six in a second. Yeah, JPO, what do you think of that? Yeah.
Well, now I don't want to talk about it. No, nothing crazy to add. I just wanted my moment. No, fun main event. Yeah, what is with Baylor, man? Like, I mean, it's not like Priest is going for a title next week, right? So, like, Jesus, like, he's got the numbers. Can the guy get a fucking win? That's my only problem.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where these guys, what they move on to from here. I'm sure we'll find out, over the next few weeks, kind of what they move on to. But yeah, no, it was dropped. The Wyatt Six, or just because of some transfer portal or whatever they're calling it. It's weird. They're being transferred to SmackDown now. There's no follow up of like any of the Chad Gable stuff or like any.
It's done.
Yeah, it's all done. Any of the Miz, Karrion Cross thing. It was just like it was. But it was weird that it was like sort of in the middle of things, and like they even teased that it wasn't done like last week. And then
they just started a feud. That feud wasn't done, but like, guess it is. So, all right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, well, you killed Water Break. They're on SmackDown now. Why does Adam Pearce care to save your skin by trading him? Why is Adam Pearce protecting the Miz? I don't know.
They haven't been much on TV anyways the last couple weeks. Right? So I mean, like, what do we do with this faction or the storyline that's like not? I mean, are they faces? Are they heels? Do we cheer for them? But they murder people. I don't know. Like, what do we do with them?
I think they're supposed to be baby faces. Definitely, they're definitely like got over. But I just feel like it's a bit disappointing the way they're being used. I think they haven't capitalized on the momentum they've had. I don't know. Maybe they could go on and feud with maybe the blood, whatever they're called now. I don't know what to call them now.
Bloodline guys.
I guess we'll figure out what to call them in the next couple weeks. But I'm like, I don't know. It just feels a bit random. And I would like to see someone like a guy who's been underrated, like Yvo Dallas, get a decent kind of push here. But I feel like it's just sort of a special attraction.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how much they actually use them on SmackDown, or what they involve them in. I don't know. Do they feud with the Bloodline guys? Do they just feud with, I don't know, the LWO guys? I don't know. Like, what do we do with these guys? I don't know. I don't know what we do. We'll see how that plays out. But before we move to AEW, we want to mention the WWE related thing. I forgot to bring up the Corey Graves thing. We were going to talk about that because he was not on NXT this past week. He was on the one where The Rock was on, and then he put out a tweet, and I'll just read it real quick. It won't take long. He said, "Imagine chasing your dream, then being told, not deciding, that you're no longer physically able to pursue your dream. Then you dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and being pretty fucking awesome at it. And then when it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, being told that you're not famous enough for your own job, just in case you've been wondering where I've been." So, maybe some sentiment about, we talked about, we wondered how the announcer situation would play out, because they said, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee would be leading Raw again, and Corey is usually with Cole, so we said, okay, maybe he'll just get put back on SmackDown with Joe, but they've been going with Joe and Wade Barrett, but no Corey Graves. And I thought like they would just do the 3-man booth, but is this a shoot? Is this something they're going to set up? They've been talking for years about a Pat McAfee Corey Graves like feud and match thing potentially at Mania, so like maybe it's a thing where he says that Pat took his spot. I don't know. JPO, work, shoot, are we setting up an angle? Is this him? Was he really venting his frustration? And now it was up for a couple of days, and then he just now deleted it today. So I don't know, if we just let it go to get some stir going or what? I mean, what's your gut say about this? What do you think?
Oh man, I'm torn. I really am on this
Yeah.
because we live in the world now where you can take a grain of salt with anything. The reports are supposedly saying it's legit. Like they wrote that and they're like, hey, could you not, take it down maybe? And that's why he was legitimately not even on the show Tuesday. But it's wrestling. So I don't know, man. I hope Corey's smart about it here. I have enjoyed his transition to the booth here. I was a fan of him on the Indies. Sterling James Keenan is when he went by SJK on the Indies here. A brief Ring of Honor run on their HD Net days, and it was sad to see because he was definitely one of those guys that like he didn't have the title, but like he was on the video game that one year. Well, there's only like 3 or 4 of them on the video game from NXT, so they had plans for him. And to see it, get abruptly ended always sucks. But then luckily he had the second life, so I can see being upset too. You know what I mean? Like I think we'd all feel that way if like we dedicated, our first dream died, we put all our time into a second dream, and then someone comes in and just like now gets the TV time instead of you. So I can see either way, man. I really can.
Either way, yeah, because I know he said he got cleared. He's been cleared to wrestle for 2 or 3 years now. Like medically, he's cleared.
Yeah. No, even back with the 24/7 stuff.
Him, yeah, being around. They have done all those things where they've had a couple of those pay-per-views. You remember where Michael and Corey would be out there for like a Rumble or something, and then they hit Pat McAfee's music, and Corey even in character is just like, "Oh, for fuck's sakes!" Like this guy. You know what I mean? Like I hate this guy. Like they could play into that if it's an angle. Of like you took my spot. You're not even going to be here half the time with your football thing. Like I've worked my ass off, and like just because you do this stupid podcast, like they won't you. Like it's almost like that's just thing with Joey Styles that they did, years ago. Where he got booted for like coach, if you remember, and then cut that promo. I mean, like they've done announcer things before like that. But yeah, Richie, what's your gut say about this one?
I watched that Joey Styles shoot thing the other day when he's like, "Hey, dude, come on, hype up."
I'm not good enough for Backlash. Yeah.
And then he slaps him, and then it was like, it's good. But I'm torn because like I feel like when wrestlers have aired their frustrations or just sort of maybe gone too far with their character work on Twitter before, that'd be swiftly gone take that down. But the fact that they let him live it up there for a couple of days, makes me. So it's like it was up there for a longer time than they usually let it up there. And he also said like after the one tweet saying, I got a lot to say. Check out NXT, and then he had like a microphone. Like it implied that he was going to cut a promo.
But then it was supposed to be the one where he was going to be at, but then he wasn't at that show.
Yeah. But he implied that he was getting mic time. And sort of just like adding to the thing because apparently he was at the airport, and then they said no, I don't know. So then apparently his brother, who's a wrestler, Sam Adonis, said it was legit. So I don't know. Probably if he's trying to get fired and they're not going to fire him. But I feel like if anybody else like does this, they're immediately and they want to get fired, it's like okay, if you want to, not going to stop you. So I don't know. I'm leaning on the side it is a work, but I can also see like Dick said, I can see why he'd be frustrated, especially like he's moved to a 3-man booth. He looked very despondent when you saw his face. He's on a 3-man booth, and he's also, no disrespect to him, he's on a 3-man booth for Booker T, who wouldn't let him get a word in edgewise. Like Booker T was.
You can't do more than a 2-man booth with Booker, because he just dominates the entire booth.
Booker T wasn't letting him talk at all, so you hardly even heard from him when he was on there. And then it wasn't even clear. Like I didn't really know till later on that like it was at this stage permanent move. I thought it was like he was just there to be there. Like he was like I thought, Corey's joining us this week now. Okay, but and then it was that awkward like pat on the back, like hey. It was just like it's almost like Big Josh is going, cheer up, buddy. But I'm leaning towards it to work. But I don't know. It would be a big loss. It would be a big loss if he did end up leaving. But I probably wouldn't advise against also just airing your grievances on X or Twitter or whatever it is. But it is what it is. But,
Yeah.
I hope it is a feud.
We'll see how it plays out. Yeah, if it's a feud or not. So switching to kind of the AEW side of things. A few things coming out of Dynamite. We had Kenny Omega's first in-ring appearance again for AEW. Yeah, against Brian Cage. So they had their match. Kenny won, but then they kind of got attacked, and it looks like they're setting up probably a tag match for you, Richie, at the Grand Slam. Probably looks like it might be Omega and Ospreay, maybe against Fletcher and Takeshita is what it's looking like. The Callis family.
It seems that way. I thought maybe we'd get one-on-one Ospreay and Fletcher again, but I'm pretty sure they're probably saving that too for a pay-per-view. Not like a special Grand Slam is, which apparently Grand Slam that week is replacing Collision. That's going to be like in Collision's time slot. So that
because it's going to be streaming. They said they confirmed it's going to stream on Max. Like live or whatever. So
So I mean, I'm all for that. There's no way that'll be. I didn't never when this was announced. I didn't think I'd see Kenny Omega at the show. So I'm glad to see Kenny Omega at the show. So that's always good.
Mm-hmm. And then we had that newcomer, that rookie Tony Storm from Australia. It looks like it's going to get her a shot at Mariah May for the first time ever. So a nice one-on-one.
I'm not a fan. They're jump starting her way too soon. I mean, let's see if she's any good first. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, she got that flash win, but I don't like her chances against Mariah May. It's very established, superstar.
We'll see what happens. I don't know if I know she's from the Gold Coast, which is sort of not that far from Brisbane, but will the crowd take to her that much? I don't know. Maybe the crowd be more into Harley Cameron on the show because she's from. I didn't realize until I watched the show that she's from Gold Coast. All just aside, I am looking forward. Looking forward to the match, and I'm sure she will.
We'll see. She they had a fun. I don't know if you guys saw that promo she did with Renee. They put on social media where she got like a PWI. Woman of the Year thing, and she was like, "Well, I mean, I haven't done that much, but I'm proud to accept this award for women everywhere." And it's very fun. And the way she's been playing, she's been eating it up the gimmick, and I'm enjoying it. But we also had we had kind of a debuting. I wouldn't say debut because I guess JPO she's worked some dark matches. The Megan Bain, she worked some dark stuff like a few years ago. But she's been starting.
The interesting thing about her is there's been rumors that they maybe even signed her a while ago, and it's just been one of those we don't have anything for you. There was rumors that they signed her and then let her go because they didn't have anything for her, and they just re-signed her because she wrestled darks in 21, 22, and 23 here and there, and then. For the past year, or she's done some Stardom stuff, and then literally she's been just on top of all the indies. Defy, House of Glory, GCW. In fact, she's booked currently for the big Hammerstein show that's also this weekend. I'll probably have a quick review of that next Thursday, or at least if there's anything interesting, I'll let you know because I'll probably watch that. That's on the Fight TV or Triller. So she's been making her names, and she's. It sounds like she is with the company. It sounds like this isn't just a one-off, Rumble appearance. That she is with AEW now, and maybe has been. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and easy on the eyes, if I may say so myself. I like that.
Yeah, no, I've as you can kind of see, as a high spots buyer, they've been shocking her photos for a hot minute now, and maybe I should have jumped while it was hot because I bet you those photos next week are
now they're gonna be up.
Absolutely, yeah. I should have bought it. Should have bought her beach photos when they were just 15, 20.
Right. For sure. So we got little news coming out of that. God, it looks like we're getting a MJF Jeff Jarrett feud. Really?
Yeah, to continue that, those two are still promo feuding. Yep.
I 100 really MJF is so ready to come to WWE. I think, man.
I disagree.
Come on, man. He can't be is this what I'm doing? I'm working with Jeff Jarrett.
Come on.
Come on.
No.
I'm MJF. No.
I don't agree with that. I think he's going I can throw with Jeff Jarrett. That's kind of cool. I never thought I'd say that. Come on.
And I mean, he likes the. I think he likes to play around with what he can get around with, but ways too. Like, I mean, he was doing a promo battle, making personal digs at Jeff Jarrett while wearing a blue blazer. That was not subtle.
Ooh,
I don't. Subtle. That was. He was totally doing that on purpose.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was totally.
The whole promo was digging in on Owen Hart. Of course, it was on purpose.
It was on purpose.
Yeah, I maybe wasn't paying attention.
Half the promo was digging about Owen Hart.
I had a phone call. I'll be honest.
Okay. Well, and he also dug in on he even dug in on Karen Jarrett, talking about how you got Olympic gold medalist balls, or what they taste like or something like that. So he did his thing. He dug in on the past and stuff. Yeah.
But Jeff Jarrett gave it as good as he got. He called his mom a cold girl or whatever it was.
Yeah, what a baby face, right?
Yeah, shitting on sex work, which is real work. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just it's weird, man. Like, I don't know. I don't mind Jeff Jarrett doing this thing, but like, MJF's a former world champion, dude. Like, he should be like in the main event picture. Like, what? I don't know.
Oh, no,
I just have so I think MJF should be doing much higher things than this. Like, you put him with somebody else with this thing, dude. MJF should be in the world title picture, man. Like,
I think it'll only be a short. I think it'll only be a short feud. I think they might wrestle at maybe Grand. They could stretch out to Grand Slam. I don't know, but like they'll wrestle at Grand Slam and then they'll both move on to.
They'll have a nice TV match and move on. Yeah.
They're probably gonna have a match next week because next week they're in Knoxville, Tennessee. They're still gonna be in Tennessee, and that's Jeff Jarrett territory. So like I don't see them having a match in Australia. I mean, they probably just haven't announced it yet. I mean, we're early in the week, you know what I mean? Like, but they basically almost set one up.
Solidify it on Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but I literally looked up next week. They're in Knoxville, which is like total Jeff Jarrett territory. Being still in Tennessee. So I would imagine if they were going to have a match, you would do it there. And just get it over with. And
I'm just sad because like I mean, I understand why they're putting all this shine on Jeff Jarrett, and it makes sense because of it might be his final year in wrestling, probably is, but like. Where the fuck is Jay Lethal? Just go.
Nowhere, man. My boy Jay ain't doing shit. He's popped up in Ring of Honor for their pay-per-view. And yeah, I don't even feel like the Ring of Honor thing was like, all right, let's put you on the pay-per-view. I don't think they built it other than promos.
His AEW run has sucked.
Yeah, I believe I've said this on the show before. Nothing has changed. August was the last time we saw him on AEW TV. And yeah, even Ring of Honor, they threw him on the pay-per-view, but there was no TV build as far as matches go. He's wrestled one Ring of Honor match, too, in however many months. So, I don't
know. Also, we're still talking AEW?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, it's interesting that, because I assume that we're building this at the pay-per-view, which probably still are, but in like 3 weeks, they're doing Ricochet and Swerve, I guess, yeah, but like it's just I don't know the significance of the is it the town of one of the people one of them I don't know why it's 3 weeks is sort of like it just seems like a random sort of time to kind of do that first match, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Did they confirm it, Tate? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like I think they probably put it on like. On their website, I did see Ricochet versus Swerve.
Okay, set for February 5th Dynamite. Oh, it's in
Georgia.
I don't know if Swerve's from Atlanta or something, or maybe
Ricochet. It seems random. Like, why would you hold that off? So, but anyway, maybe they have the.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so. I'm not sure. Yeah, I was looking up to see because Swerve's from Tacoma, Washington, so that's not.
Yeah, he's a Washington boy. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I don't know where Ricochet is from.
He's from fucking he's from like Patuca, Kentucky or something.
Yeah. So yeah, there's no real significance to either one. Maybe it's just because I think they said they hadn't done a Dynamite in Atlanta in like years or something. It's like the first time Dynamite's been to Atlanta. I've been But I've been to Collisions and Rampages in Atlanta, so
it
yeah,
could just boil down to it's a big match. Maybe they just simply have other things planned for the other weeks. You don't want it to bleed over. I don't know.
Yeah,
or it's just the first match that may break down, and maybe like we don't really get like a definitive winner. Maybe they beat the shit out of each other and it gets thrown out or something, and that leads to them having a more violent stipulation match, later. It could just be the first
last match in the feud. I think they're very paper. I just think it's weird to give away. I'm
wondering if the scissor thing will lead to something with Swerve's hair, though, like some kind of hair match or something.
Yeah,
hair versus
a hair match just for him because he can't do a hair match with Ricochet.
Yeah, no, because Ricochet can because they make fun of him being bald. I just mean like putting something else on the line, like I don't know, because you can do a hair versus whatever match. It doesn't have to be hair versus hair. I don't know if they could do something with
You've got to grow hair.
You gotta wear a wig on your head. I don't know, something stupid. That'd be dumb. But Prince Nana with a weird like chair shot that he did. He danced doing a chair shot. No, that was funny. And the fact that Ricochet didn't really cut a promo, crowd just kept clowning on him, and all he said was like one thing, and then they just moved on. And then Powerhouse Hobbs is not your AEW World Champion. The Death Rider stuff must continue. Is this when we get to the end of 2025, JPO? Unless they really do something significant with this feud, is this going to be like one of the worst feuds ever? Or one of the worst storylines ever?
Unless they wrap it up quickly enough and we forget about it, because we are only in January. If this shit ends in February, March, then we might not, make it. But I'm kind of over it. Hobbs, who just lost the international title shot 2 weeks ago, I thought they could have spread that apart a little bit. You just lost your mid card match. Why are you going to win the world title now? That's not going to happen. I don't know. I'm kind of over it, and I kind of have been.
If we get to October, November, and Moxley still hasn't explained why.
No, shoot me.
We're not getting that far.
If we're in 9-10 months more, and it's still just violence upon violence, and I'm gonna keep my title hidden, then fucking come on. Oh my god, I might stop watching.
I guess I was just I was exaggerating, but I'm just saying if we get to a long point where he still doesn't explain what they're fighting for, why they
never will. It's all vague shit. I don't think
what's the thing to why are you carrying around the title why
are you teaming up with the Learning Tree this Saturday? That makes no sense. Why would you? You're this rogue faction, and Chris Jericho is kind of everything you're fighting against. Why are you teaming up?
Yeah, originally, weren't you the wrestlers of the wrestlers? Now you're teaming out with Mr. Gimmick, of all gimmicks. Yeah.
And why is I feel like the Learning Tree feuding with Edge and FCR is kind of it muddles the thing. So it's they're feuding with Death Riders, but then the Learning Tree are already feuding with them. Makes things weird. I guess it's
I don't mind separate. There's the TV feud and a pay-per-view feud. You're obviously buying time to get to Cope versus Moxley is going to be the next thing. But but you don't need to mix them.
Yeah. Certain enemy of my enemy things make sense with Omega and Ospreay. That's what they're doing. It's Ospreay and Omega both have the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So we both have a problem with the Callis family, so we're going to team up against the Callis family. That makes we both have history with them. They both kind of fucked us over. We don't really necessarily love each other. Omega and Ospreay still have a rivalry, but we'll set that aside to take out the Callis family. That's fine. I have no problem with that because they have a common enemy. But this one doesn't make any sense. This one at all of why would the Death Riders be teaming with anybody other than
themselves? A faction like you said that are purposely as goofy as a Learning Tree, probably the opposite of badasses, maybe except for Brian Keith. We just, but it's just I don't believe these guys would ever hang out.
No. I mean, if you wanted to have an 8-man tag on Collision and have rated FTR and Hobbs versus all of the Death Riders, because you have 4 of those guys, you got Mox, Claudio, Wheeler, Pac. I'm fine with that, doing a big, and you keep teasing stuff within that. But the mixing of the learning tree and like Mark Briscoe and stuff and those guys in there. It's like, wait, what? Like it's a mixing of feuds that don't need to be mixed. Like I don't understand the mixing of all that. Like it's just odd. I don't know.
They did on Collision too. They did too much of. I just felt like they did too much of. Person wins a match, then attacks the person at the end. Heel wins a match. They did that like 2-3 times during that.
They did that multiple times on this Dynamite. Omega wins the match, and the Callis family attacks them and Ospreay. They did the same thing in the main event. Moxley wins, and then they beat up on Hobbs, and then other guys come out to make the save and scare him away. Like it was kind of the same. They did that multiple times.
I just like you need to spread that out sometimes because you do that like if you do it multiple times a show, it's annoying. Just like
that's some Vince McMahon like 2019 shit where it's like heat. We gotta get heat. One guy wins, but we gotta get heat. It's just like it's the same shit, and have the people scare him away at the end. Heat. It's just like it's some like. That's some tropey like wrestling shit that I don't always love. It's like people can have a win and just have a win, and you can set something up later. Mix it up a little bit. Do a backstage thing. Do a parking lot. Do something like mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, you can set up stuff without having to we need to establish that they're bad guys by attacking them. So no, you can just have.
And by the way, and even then, okay. The Death Riders were out there, right? And they're interfering left and right against Hobbs, right? Like Wheeler comes out, that fucking Wheeler Yuta, JPO doesn't trust him. He comes out, he attacks Hobbs on like the Rapway. Marina's out there, like attacking him with the briefcase. Why weren't Edge and FTR out there, like watching Will Hobbs' back the whole time and like evening the odds? Like, why weren't they out there? Like,
I still don't trust Wheeler, by the way. I think Wheeler's gonna end up turning on them too at some point. I don't trust Wheeler again.
But Edge and FTR took a long time to come out.
Why weren't they out there from the beginning, even just being in his corner, like making
do you
sure
not know their shit by now? Yeah, what took you so long?
Catering.
Well, do we remember when Edge? Cope when Copeland debuted at that pay-per-view, and he like took his sweet time getting out there with the fucking driving up to the building and the damn entrance theme and all that shit.
I still remember when JPO talked about when Jeff Hardy debuted and he took the time to dance.
We got to do the dance first. we gotta do our little dance on the rampway.
I must admit, I like Will Yuta's role at the moment. He's such a geek. He's the biggest punching bag and just the biggest geek of the Death Riders. Just constantly taking being put through the one put through the table. Just being the biggest punching bag. But eventually he's got to stick up for himself. He's just going to be a massive cut. But hopefully, eventually that I can see him turning as well. But yeah, otherwise
maybe eventually. But yeah, I don't know where this Death Riders thing is going. So yeah, I just hope they end it. Yeah, maybe
it was
Revolution or something.
It's good to finally see Park. I guess he hadn't seen him in a while. He finally shows up on was it Collision? And then
and he's got a match confirmed with Cope next week on Dynamite, like a one-on-one match. So yeah, maybe they're finally mixing him in some more, I guess.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get like a trios championship title defense at some point. maybe.
Well, just get
Samoa Joe's back too, which is cool.
Samoa Joe, yeah. Well, again, unadvertised. He just shows up in the Hook Christian match at the end of the match and just shows up.
We're still continuing that shit where we left off.
Yeah,
which I guess Jericho did take him out, so I guess you kind of should, if we're being honest.
Yeah, but I feel like you could have got some extra viewers if you had advertised Samoa Joe returning on the show, because we've all been kind of wondering where he's at, and now he's just back. So I don't know.
He was making that Twisted Metal season 2, baby.
No, he was. Yeah, that'll be a thing. Yeah, next year. So
I thought it was cool too. MVP wrestled his first match a couple years, so he still got some juice left in the tank, which is cool. Not just
I was kind of under the impression he was probably just quietly retired, but it's cool to see him there.
No, I mean,
I think he's one of those. Yeah,
keeping it open. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely pushing for. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, it looks like they're pushing for Sheldon and Lashley to get the tag titles just individually. But if you had in the future to do a trios thing with them with the trios titles, MVP could always step in as part of that syndicate until they maybe recruit somebody else. I mean, I've heard.
Yeah, I'd imagine they're getting a third person in there.
I've heard rumblings about either, if it's not Ricochet, even Bowens like going heel and like joining them or two or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it could be somebody. So I eventually think they'll recruit a third person for sure. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
This year. But no, I mean, I didn't have a whole lot other than that. That's kind of most everything, unless you guys had anything else. What else you got?
The only
I've
other
got some
thing,
tidbits if you want some.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
the other thing I had was like with it was in regards to GCW. That's on Baron Corbin or Thomas Pistock.
Tom Pistock.
Pistock is got a match with a Bloodsport match with Josh Barnett on that show.
Yeah.
So they're going to kind of cool. So it's his first post WWE match. See where that goes. I'd be interested to see where he ends up as far as I don't know. I don't necessarily see him as an AEW guy, but we'll see what happens. But
I don't. But that'll be interesting to see. I mean, GCW definitely seems to be the home of willing to give guys a shot. You know, Jinder Mahal, obviously Mike Cardona, multiple time champ there. So yeah, definitely interesting. Like I said, if anything interesting, I guess I'll watch that match then. Anything interesting happens on that show, I'll let you guys know. Let's end on a high note. Let's talk about Tiffany Stitch, aka or Tammy Stitch, rather known as Sunny. She's trying to get her case down to. She had a what was it, a DUI manslaughter charge or DUI drunken. She killed a guy. She's supposed to serve another 15 years in prison. She's trying to get it down to half of that, which would mean about another 5 to 6. So she wrote a plea to the judge recently. So trying to get her thing down here. A couple people that seem to kind of corroborate, CM Punk talked in the past about how the AEW locker room, doesn't always listen to their vets and whatnot. Well, Mark Henry seemed to back that up a little bit recently, saying, he always tried giving advice and not everyone would always listen. And then of all people, rappers Action Bronson, I don't know if you remember, he teamed up with Hook a couple years ago. Was like he even felt like he's like, I don't know, that locker room was kind of cliquey and like no one ever returned my calls and like he's like, I would do another match. So
they like left him hanging, like he did that one angle, those couple appearances, and he was like, and then I kept waiting for them to call me back, and nothing happened, and
nothing happened. Yeah, still, I felt like he was jockeying for a WWE tryout now because he's like, I'm ready to go.
It's sort of like a similar thing with like Paul White at the moment. It's like, I'm ready to. I mean, he's been doing like announcing stuff sometimes, but it's like, hey, yeah. And people are asking him like, "Hey, when are you coming back?" Yeah, I'm ready to go whenever. I'm just waiting.
No, one of his more funnier quotes recently was, I hope I wrestle. Tony Khan's paying me more than enough not to, or more than enough like to see it to where I'm ready. Like, I'm definitely making the money to where I should be, kind of thing. Hiroshi Tanahashi made Chicago April 11th. That'll be his final U.S. match. Tanahashi is also on a retirement tour, kind of like John Cena. He's decided to face our boy Takeshita April 11th. That will be his final U.S. match against Takeshita. And the last bit of piece of have if you have the Roku channel, if you're any Roku people like me, on January 21st, basically sounds like instead of comedians in cars, it's John Cena in cars talking to people. It's called What Drives You? And it's John Cena just visiting different people in different areas, taking drives, talking cars and life with Logan Paul, The Miz, and then other weird guests like Jelly Roll and Blink-182's Travis Barker. So that'll be on the Roku channel, January 21st.
Fucking Jelly Rolls everywhere. I gotta get him off.
That dude's living the life I want. He's a rock star. He's doing SNL. He's at the Rumble. He's at SummerSlam, choker slamming people.
He was announced as one of the people. They're doing they're calling it like fire aid, like kind of like live aid for the fires in California. It's like him, like he's on the roster for it. I don't know. They announced a couple people, but yeah, he was one of them.
Like, it wouldn't shock me if he's like an unlockable in the next game. Like you download him.
I'm sure he let him, kind of like a Post Malone in the past, or Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit's been a playable character in 2 different games. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he asked him.
Yeah. The only other thing I had was like, apparently, again, this might be rumors, but apparently, like, it's weird that people aren't that upset that maybe Malachi Black is leaving because they were like. Apparently, he never sort of warmed himself there like Tony Khan, and then he was always, he didn't like jobbing to people, and then wasn't as close friends to as close friends with Brody and Buddy as you think. They are kind of, in a way, if you watch TV, it's almost like they are kind of burying him. And it's like, yeah, with Buddy and Brody, like, yeah, you're better off without that guy. You're biggest thing. Like they're sort of like distancing themselves from him. So I feel like there's more to.
Yeah. The last collision, Copeland approaches them both, and he's like, "Hey, not looking for a fight. Just want to let you guys know, like, I see the world in you, and you don't need him. You don't need him. In fact, I wanted to team with you. That's how good you guys are. You guys are great. Yeah.
So they're kind of really washing their hands with him, which is interesting. But I do feel like
I'm definitely more sold that he is on the way out than I was before, just because they really are like hamming it in now instead of just like the past couple times where it's like Chicken Little. I was like, okay, now it seems to track.
Yeah, but I if that's okay, I mean, yeah, like he might be a name if he does leave. I don't know when his contract runs up, but if he does leave, he might be a name people are like, oh, he'll get Rumble appearance. I don't necessarily think he will, but like I think he'll probably end up. Triple H will want him. I think Triple H wanted him initially, but he was
Well, if anything, that would also free him. I'd like to see Buddy Matthews and Brody King team up more as a tag team. I think they're a really good tag team. And and be in the tag team division, like, man, like them against like Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin would be great, or against those guys.
We were all pretty lukewarm on this tag division the past year because it just between like the Young Bucks and like WWE being kind of all over the place, Finn Balor holding it despite being more of a single star. So AEW still has the possibility, like, let's focus on the Hurt Syndicate. Let's focus on those two. That's dope, hell yeah.
Yeah, or even like within the learning tree, have Jericho be the manager of like Brian Keith and Big Bill as a tag team. Like, let's focus.
Yeah, Big Bill.
If you have to break down some of these guys as like in the tag teams and have Jericho be their manager, like MVP, like spice up the tag division a little bit. Like, we need to get that. Like, it's kind of dead. Not to say it's like dead in the water right now, but it's kind of like. It's just not really gotten a focus, and like let's get it focused. So if they get them off onto the Hurt Syndicate and like start propping it up, and then bring on some of these other challengers. But Buddy and Brody, like the couple times they've teamed up before, I like them as a tag team. I think they really work.
But also, like they hinted as well. I wouldn't mind seeing them as singles. That match Buddy had with Will Ospreay is fucking great. But because
the match Brody had with Ospreay was great. I mean, they're both great. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, they're all awesome.
Here's the common denominator there.
I know. Buddy is still good.
I'm waiting for the one match that Ospreay has that's just the absolute drizzling shits because of the person.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Because I saw live, Will and Lance Archer, and even that was like a solid TV match. You know what I mean? Like it was good.
I was surprised with that, and I just watched it on TV.
They will have to blame the other guy if the match sucks. Like, fuck you, Satman Singh. How dare you have a bad match?
That would be one, I think.
How awesome would it be if he still pulled out like a 3 to 4 star match? Holy shit. Like the whole Bret Hart, Tom McGee kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, if you're that good, man,
That would be like, him working a good match with like, fucking Kurgan or something. You know what I mean? Like, and getting like a banger out of him or whatever. Yeah, that would be something. I'm waiting for it, but I don't think they would be silly enough to put him in there with somebody that can at least, work pretty good. I don't see that anytime soon. But I think we covered a good chunk of the news. At least it was a lot of stuff going on. So we'll wrap it up there and kind of and then we'll return and we'll see what happens.
I feel like there's more we can talk about now that you have more access to Raw and like WWE and like AEW
and Dynamite. Because I've been watching Raw and Dynamite every week. I watched Dynamite at the gym today. I've been watching Raw like the next day at least. I mean, I can at least be more in tune of like seeing what actually happens rather than just results, and I've been enjoying that on streaming. So as I said, it's a very good time to have access. I still can't really watch SmackDown, but I can see whatever they put on YouTube. But if I can at least watch Dynamite and Collision and Raw, like I'm doing all right. So I have been. Raw's been good lately. Dynamite, even if the storylines are a little wonky, usually at least has good matches. So. Yeah. So I mean, it's a mixed bag sometimes, but so we'll see what we do. As far as next week, I know Richie, you're probably not going to be here. Jacob will probably be back, so I don't know what we're going to do next week. We could do we could pivot and do the retro rumble. If you guys want to review our retro rumble, we talked about doing that. Leading up to the week of the Rumble predictions. But if we end up doing predictions plus the rank 'em thing, we could do that as well on the 30th. So we'll see. And then we could pivot to just a retro rumble review next week if you want to do that. It's up to y'all. Or it's maybe
we'll have to talk. Yeah, we'll talk and see what's up.
We'll talk. I talked about spinning a wheel of rumbles of just a bunch of years. We could throw it in there because we did 93, right? Like that was the one random one we did last year. And then did we do another one before that? I can't remember.
We've done. Did we do? I know. Well, we did a tier ranker of best. Oh, it's like not tier. We did a tier ranker of like the Royal Rumbles from like was it like from like the 2000s Royal Rumbles, was it? Yeah, I can't remember.
Something like that. Yeah, we did. So I've got the rankings that we did. We did a tier ranker of Rumbles last year. We've done Dream Cards. And then we did the 93 one. So, we've only done a full retro review of the 93 Rumble because that was the one I remember I reviewed it. And we did, they had some decent matches on there. And then we did that was the Yokozuna one where he won. We could spin a wheel of Rumbles if we want to do that for next week if you want. Yeah, I could do that pretty quick if you guys buy me like 60 seconds. I could make one real quick. We could spin one on the air. We got time. I could just put in the last numbers. So, I mean, do I want to start at like 1990 though? Because I feel like those first two Rumbles weren't really Rumbles. They were like
the first one.
88's the small one with 20.
Yeah.
On TV. I mean, I'd put in 89 and above. 89's a normal run.
Yeah, everything except for 93. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
91, 92, 94. 95. Yeah, because I like this idea of just spinning a random one because some of these have undercards that I forgot about and we can still talk about, even if it's a mixed bag. So 2001, 2002, 2003. Or I'll just do 03, 04.
2004. Won by nobody. No one won that.
Yeah, no one won that. It was a weird year where there was no winner. 10, 11, 12, 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2. I'll just go up to 22. 23 seems recent. Too recent. 23.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Too recent. Yeah. Or you know what? Maybe let me just go up to 2019 because I want to at least have a couple of years distance. Let's just go up to 2019. I'm gonna have a couple of years in between.
Do you really want to watch the 2021 one, which was just
yeah. Let's just go up to 19 because we want to have a little distance from some of these, so a little bit of like where were we? So here we go. I got one pulled up. There we go. I got all the numbers on there. So let's shuffle these bad boys up and see if we can spin a rumble. Let's see. We'll do a retro show next week with some news. Just a random one while Richie's off and stuff. Oh boy. Oh, we're going to stay in the 90s. 95. Oh, boy. Okay. All right. During kind of
it's a very slow rumble, by the way, as far as the rumble goes.
Oh, is that one of the shorter ones? Is that one of the Shawn Michaels shorter ones?
But I don't know what that's in the undercard, though. I might be able to
yeah, I can look up I'll just look up the card. I won't spoil any results or whatever, but I can.
I want to say the Hart Brothers team, don't they? No, it was at 94.
Let's see what the matches are. Quarterman. Buck Quarterman had a pre-show match. JPO. Buck Quarterman.
What?
For a while. Yeah, he had a
That's interesting.
Pre-show match with the Brooklyn Brawler. That's weird. That's random. Okay. So we have for the Intercontinental title Jeff Jarrett because we can't get away from him. God damn it.
A wild slapnuts appears. Double J. Jeff Jarrett.
So we have Jeff Jarrett versus Razor Ramon for the IC title. Looks like in the opener, we got a singles match: Undertaker versus IRS. Yeah. We got your champion Diesel versus Bret Hart for the WWF title. So it looks like a really long match. So 27 minutes. Holy shit. Kevin Nash for 27 minutes. Oh, good God. There might be some shenanigans.
One person to do it's Bret Hart. Yeah, sure.
Holy shit. And then we've got a tag team tournament finals for the WWF Tag Team Championship. We've got the
1, 2, 3 Kid Bob Holly.
Bob Holly
Taco
versus
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow and Tatanka, the $1 Million Corporation. Yes.
Give me my bonus trivia point.
And there you go. Yes, and a very short, 38-minute rumble. So
that's for sure. I was 30, 45.
38-minute rumble. Holy shit! What is that? That 60-second interval? we cranked it out.
Yeah, and then I guess the ending's pretty quick too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
So
I wonder if they did that because they were like, let's not make Sean work too hard because he's the first number one winner. So, not like he couldn't go longer, I'm sure. But I don't know. I've always just wondered why that one is. I think that holds the record. I think this is the record holder for shortest.
Right. And this is mid-90s Sean as well, and he probably didn't want to work longer. He's like, I don't want to work an hour if I can. I don't know. It was like the mid-90s attitude Sean. Look, I'll win the Rumble, but I'm not going past 40 minutes.
Might be too early for him to pull shit like that. He's not the champ yet. 96, he's probably pulling shit like that. I don't know if 94 he is.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of this undercard from 95, so we'll see that, and then I'll see this Rumble, which I think I've watched at some point, but it's been forever, so I don't even remember. We'll see all the random 1995 WWF people that are in that Rumble. I'm sure it's very random. Just some goofy ones.
No, there's some weird those 93 to 96. I'm like, is this Dan Hansen one or Dick Slater or
a couple of those weird ones that they had Dick Murdoch and random guys that.
Murdoch, unless that's 94.
And one of them had Mil Mascaris was in one and eliminated himself in one of those.
That's 97 where he eliminates himself.
Yeah,
that's 97.
They had a working relationship with World Wrestling Council. That's why Carlos Colon's in one of them.
That's also 90. Yeah, the 97 one's filled with Hector Garza, Angel's dad.
I think one I can't remember the commentary says he was here comes a young Carlos Colon. He was 40 in his 40s. When someone is not going to win because they do that job. I'm on camera.
Well, this will be a good week to do just a kind of a random show because it'll be a week before the Rumble, so we'll get into the spirit of the Rumble, but not quite ready for predictions yet. And then the following week we'll do some quick predictions, even if we have a guest. If we do that rank 'em, we can still do that rank 'em after we do the predictions because the match itself will only be probably 4 undercards, right, JP? Usual probably 4 match card, or it might be even 3 matches plus 2 Rumbles, so it might just be 3. You never know. We might not get a lot.
What was last year?
I want to say it was 3 in the 2 Rumbles. It wasn't even, or maybe 2 in the 2 Rumbles. Was it 4 matches total? Wasn't it 2 and 2?
I'll tell you in 5.5 seconds. 4 matches. It was
so 2 Rumbles and 2 undercards.
4-way world title, U.S. match, and then Rumble. Yeah, that's why they did it last year.
We may only do 4 this year because you can see Cody and Kevin getting some time for their ladder match, right? And then maybe only one other match. It could be. So
Rumbles are going an hour plus. There's 2 hours right there. That's literally more than
say at least half an hour for Owens and Cody, right? And then maybe one other match, and that's 3 hours. So
I'd imagine I bet you they'll split it like they did last year, give some women's title match of some sort.
So that may only be it. We only have 4 to predict anyways, and just predicting winners and stuff. So we'll have to hash out bonus points for the Rumble, as far as obviously if your person wins, that's some big extra points, for a Rumble win, and maybe bonus points if your guy has somebody you drafted has the longest time in the Rumble or something, or most eliminations, things like that. We can hash out some bonus points there.
Are we doing anything where we guess certain people too, that might be in the Rumble?
Yeah, we've done that before. Where we guess maybe if you have guess a legend,
Matt Cardona.
Will I for the 3rd or 4th year in a row guess that Scott Steiner will confront Braun Breaker again, and that never happens.
He's too old. I love you, but that's not happening.
I know. I thought Rick would at least maybe do it.
And take the softest.
He's older. That's worse. That's even less possible.
Yeah. Hey, it could have happened a couple years ago.
Apparently, I mean,
No.
to that end, apparently, like, it's just funny you mention him. Apparently, Scott Steiner said his son has been offered a contract with WWE. Scott Steiner's
Oh, they
son.
might have dueling. They should call him like Billy Breaker.
Yeah, no, we'll do the same thing where we predict we'll predict the winner. We'll predict as far as like a legend and maybe a surprise for each of the men's and women's, things like that. So yeah, we'll figure it all out. We'll do those predictions. And then we'll try to rank them that week in 2 weeks. So if we can get one other person by then, we'll do that. So, all right. And the week after that, obviously, we'll be reviewing the Rumble. So yeah, next week we'll just do a casual show. Yeah, I'll put together some retro notes for Royal Rumble 95. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So Richie, whether you make it or not, I know you're kind of like 50-50, maybe not. We'll see. I know you're kind of leaning towards no, but if you end up making it, that's what we're doing. So there you go.
Yeah. All good.
All right. We'll leave it at that. So, Richie, you got anything you want to throw out there before we go?
No, I mean, just check out Wheeler Movies. We just, before we come in here, we did a review of Mystery Man, which was fun to go back and watch. It actually holds up. It's pretty fun. That's what I talk about.
You just spoiled it. Now I don't have to tune in.
Well, but then
Got your review.
Mm-hmm.
We should also, I mean, not that I'm not charter programming, but that movie is a good movie to do like a recast on. Just saying.
Maybe.
At some point. But yeah, and then you can find me on JPO's channel, DM Trivia, and all that jazz. I'll pop up here on long time, first time. At some point, other than that, I'll be on the honorable mentions podcast league now. So check that out. And other than that, that's all sort of for now. And I'm in a bit of limbo until I get back from being away, but for a week. But then I'll be back in the swing of things. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, JPO, what you got going on in your channels and whatnot?
The Periscope, and I got to pee, so we'll leave it at that. Follow me at the Periscope.
Okay, Periscope and long time first time they did earlier today. Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, and Movie Hero Network for all my shenanigans. We're doing 2024 stuff, so check us out next week. All right, we'll leave it at that. So for Richie, for JPO, get well soon, Barber. I am Austin Pez. We'll see you.
Love you, Barber.